Good morning. Welcome to Grow the Info, where usually I say I like to bring you good, solid information, but I think I need to clarify on that for a second, and so I'm just going to ramble for a few minutes. Usually I would play a song or something for notifications to go out, but I'm just going to clarify something real quick. When I say that I bring you good, solid information that you can verify, it's because it's coming straight from the government and not like a third party reporting source. Usually, when the mainstream media does a story, they have their government source that they can say, oh, the FDA has issued this, or this person has been charged. It's because they have a press release from the government agencies. That's how they get that information. Sometimes they do investigative reporting and whatnot that's like on their own, and they'll have sources that they can't name and stuff. So when I say I bring you solid information, it's because it's stuff that you can take with you and make your own content with, and people can't sit here and be like, oh, well, you don't, you know, that that's not really going on, and everything like that. And of course you can't get copywritten for using stuff that the government puts out. Just FYI, if you want to be able to stream press conferences and things like that, just use the government sources. I've seen a lot of YouTubers recently coming under fire because they're using the mainstream media sources, and I know it's hard to do your own reporting and to find all the sources and everything. It takes me a lot of work to find all of the papers and all of the press releases behind a story that the mainstream media has, going on and stuff. It takes a lot of work. I totally understand. But if you guys want to be able to keep doing this, then we need to learn how to get those sources ourselves, because they're going to keep trying to flag your videos and your content and everything. It's going to end up being just even for showing a logo for a second, or even part of an interview that's with the government official, they're just going to flag you. And that's just how it is now. We've actually done a stream on stuff like that recently. Alright, so enough rambling about that. I think I need to change what I'm saying at the beginning of my video so that way people don't think I'm just believing whatever the government says, but I just wanted to clarify that quickly. And the links to what I'm about to go over are in the description box down below. And one of the reasons why I do that is because I'm not a very big channel and I want this information to get out. I don't care if you guys go take the information and you have a bigger channel than me and you put out your content, whatever. Go ahead. I just want this information out there. I'm sitting here trying to make a Wuhan virus video and I just come across all this other stuff and I'm like, really? No, I don't know what to report on. Okay, this is not the first thing we're going to go over, but I'm just switching over to the stuff. First, we're going to go over the Israel thing. Okie dokie. So today I came across a few things that have to do with Israel. Right now, the president is signing a USMCA thing. Yesterday, they announced a peace treaty or whatever with Israel, or at least we're supporting it. So we're going to go over a little bit of this because I don't follow that stuff too closely, but as you probably know if you've spent any time here, then I do cover the hearings, and I've heard and seen a couple things popping up that I'm like, question mark, why? So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and turn on bell notifications so that way you can be notified when we go live and put out new content, because I like to look in depth into whatever's going on in our government. And I also, even though I stream the impeachment trials, I do try to find out what else is going on too, and this is some other stuff that's been going on. So, alright, I'm going to try to get through this quickly. I'm not feeling the best today, but I am going to be streaming the impeachment trials whenever they start here later on, which will be at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time and 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Alright, so if you watched that stream that we did recently it was titled No War with Iran Act and Student Loans. They were doing a few things together in that hearing that just did not make any sense at all. And I heard a little clip that we're gonna play, and you're gonna have to listen really, really closely, you guys, because it's so quiet. That's another thing that they like to do, is that they like to have their microphone super, super, super quiet so you can't hear what they're saying. Okay, so this was an amendment to H.R. 550, the No War Against Iran Act. Okay, so in this hearing, they were discussing repealing the prior authorization of war so that Trump and future presidents can't use that as justification for taking out any military action over there right now, because that's apparently what he was claiming when he did the drone strike against Soleimani. So they repealed the 2002 authorization by Congress. They passed something that says he has to get authorization, and this lays some of that out. Okay, so this is an amendment to that. The acquisition by the government of Iran of a nuclear weapon would pose a grave threat to international peace and stability in the national security of the United States allies, including Israel. I don't know why they couldn't, they said allies. They've said over and over again that Israel is one of our allies. So why are they just naming, like, Israel? What's the point? And that's the only time that they name Israel in this paper. But it goes on to say the president has to authorize use of military force unless Congress has declared war. Exception, the prohibition under paragraph 1 shall not apply to use of military force that is consistent with the War Powers Resolution. I always get that wrong, so I had to scroll back up to it. But they're saying that this is not preventing the president from using necessary and appropriate force to defend the United States and allies if Congress authorizes the use, to relieve the executive branch of restrictions on the use of force reporting and consultation requirements, or to authorize the use of military force. So, and they said earlier in here that he can't use the funds for that unless they say it's okay, right? And so during that hearing, when they were talking about this, right at the end, now of course nobody's going to watch, nobody other than me is going to watch 2 hours of a hearing where they're talking about random stuff, and it's a House Rules Committee, and they didn't even have it on like an easy to find YouTube channel, okay? And it's super quiet, so again, you're going to have to listen very carefully. But in this, one of the representatives suggests that they extend the list of exceptions of which the president would be able to use military force and use federal funds for that military force without any kind of authorization from Congress, okay? So let me make sure that this is turned up all the way because it's super quiet.
Mrs. Lesko, aye. Mr. Chairman?
No.
Mr. Chairman, no.
Clerk, report the total.
4 yeas, 8 nays.
Members not agreed to further amendments. Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Again, H.R. 550, my amendment would simply expand the list of exceptions for the use of force to include defense against an imminent attack against the United States or against a catastrophic attack against the state of Israel.
Thank you. You heard the gentleman's amendment. Any discussion? Hearing none, the vote is on the Cole amendment. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. No. Neither chair, the noes have it. Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Hastings, Mrs. Torres, no. Mr. Perlmutter, no. Mr. Raskin, no. Ms. Scanlon, no. Mr. Morelli, no. Ms. Shalala, no. Mr. DeSaulnier, no. Mr. Cole.
Aye.
Mr. Cole, aye. Mr. Woodall.
Aye.
Mr. Woodall, aye. Mr. Burgess. Aye. Mr. Burgess, aye. Mrs. Lesko, aye. Mr. Chairman.
No.
Mr. Chairman, no.
Clerk, report the total.
4 yeas, 8 nays.
Members not agreed to further amendments. Mr. Woodall.
Okay, so he was like, we need to extend the list. Now, there were only 12 representatives, congressmen, whatever they're called. There were only 12 of them in there. So they kept, it was the same 8 versus 4 voting against each other each time. So this was not approved. So, oh, that graphic is really bothering me since it's like looking double on the screen. I'm sorry about that. So it was not approved, but right after this, like the next day, I think it was the next day. I think this was yesterday. I think that was the day before yesterday. What day was this? The 27th. So yes, the day before yesterday. So right after that, Trump delivers joint remarks with the Prime Minister of the State of Israel. And again, as I said earlier, if you want to be able to show these things and talk about it, use the government stuff. You know why you can use that? I'm going to make a whole nother video about it, showing you the copyright of the government. But if you're a taxpayer, you pay for this to be made, don't ya? So you can use it, okay? So I'm going to adjust the volume on this a little bit. We're not going to play the whole thing, and I'm going to speed it up. But I just want you to hear a little bit of what Trump is saying.
The state of Israel looking for peace, and that peace transcends politics by any measure, unmeasurable. That's what they want. On my first trip overseas as president, I visited the Holy Land of Israel. I was deeply moved and amazed by what this small country had achieved in the face of overwhelming odds and never-ending threats. The state of Israel comprises only a minuscule amount of land in the Middle East, and yet it has become a thriving center of democracy, innovation, culture, and commerce. Israel is a light unto the world. The hearts and history of our people are woven together. The land of Israel is an ancient home, a sacred place of worship, and a solemn promise to the Jewish people that we will never again repeat history's darkest hour. During my trip to Israel, I also met with Palestinian President Abbas in Bethlehem. I was saddened by the fate of the Palestinian people. They deserve a far better life. They deserve the chance to achieve their extraordinary potential. Palestinians have been trapped in a cycle of terrorism, poverty, and violence, exploited by those seeking to use them as pawns to advance terrorism and extremism. I returned from my visit determined to find a constructive path, and it's got to be a very powerful path forward.
Watch Netanyahu's body language.
Israeli-Palestinian conflict. To further this effort, I also met with President Abbas at the White House. Forging peace between Israelis and Palestinians may be the most difficult challenge of all. All prior administrations from President Lyndon Johnson have tried and bitterly failed. But I was not elected to do small things or shy away from big problems. It's been a long and very arduous process to arrive at this moment. On Sunday, I delivered to Prime Minister Netanyahu my vision for peace, prosperity, and a brighter future for the Israelis and Palestinians. This vision for peace is fundamentally different from past proposals. In the past, even the most well-intentioned plans were light on factual details and heavy on conceptual frameworks. By contrast, our plan is 80 pages and is the most detailed proposal ever put forward by far. As I have seen throughout my long career as a deal maker, complex problems require nuanced, fact-based remedies. That is why our proposal provides precise technical solutions to make Israelis, Palestinians, and the region safer and much more prosperous. My vision presents a win-win opportunity for both sides, a realistic two-state solution that resolves the risk of Palestinian statehood to Israel's security. Today, Israel has taken a giant step toward peace. Yesterday, Prime Minister Netanyahu informed me that he is willing to endorse the vision as the basis for direct negotiations, and I will say the general also endorsed, and very strongly, with the Palestinians, a historic breakthrough. And likewise, we have really a situation having to do with a race that is taking place right now. It will end, and we have the support and it's very important to say this, of both parties and almost all people in Israel. They want peace, and they want peace badly. This is the first time Israel has authorized the release of a conceptual map illustrating the territorial compromises it's willing to make for the cause of peace, and they've gone a long way. This is an unprecedented and highly significant development. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you for having the courage to take this bold step forward. Thank you. Thank you. However,
Okay, I'm not going to make you put up with any more of it and listening to the clapping on and on and on and on. Trump looked like he wanted to have Netanyahu take the podium so badly, and Netanyahu was just like, nah, man, nah, you're good. I'm just going to stand over here. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that most people in Israel would probably support whatever little tree thing you guys come up with. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not sure, Palestinians feel exactly the same. And what else is interesting is Trump went on to say that Palestine should take this deal because they might never get another deal like this in the future. This is the best one they've ever had. Well, if they're not happy with it either, then, shouldn't more compromise be made in the future? Trump also goes on to say that he has recognized the Golan Heights, and he wants recognition for recognizing the Golan Heights. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what kind of recognition he's looking for on that. So, that's been going on. After this, apparently, there's been a report issued that the White House advisors and stuff were urging Netanyahu to not go back on this document they're trying to get everybody to sign and everything. So, I find it very interesting that our government is always taking the side of Israel. Let me know what you guys think. I know there's a lot of other truthers and stuff that cover this kind of stuff, so, and a lot of other bigger channels. So if you guys know any of the bigger channels that are covering this, if you want to give them heads up about that white page document and stuff, go right ahead. As I said, it's linked in the description box below, so that way you guys can see what that is. And I will be doing probably another video on the whole 80-page document, but I am trying to get out a few other videos first, but this other stuff keeps coming out. For example, and thank you for joining, by the way. Welcome to Grow the Info. Make sure you're subscribed and turn on bell notifications, and you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Grow the Info, and check out our website, growtheinfo.com. So, while I've been trying to make this video on the Wuhan virus, I saw this pop up on the FDA and a whole bunch of other recalls that apparently the USDA doesn't send out. So now I got to sign up for more press releases because I didn't know about these recalls. So the FDA is putting out some strong support of innovation and development of gene therapy products. This, of course, is linked in the description box below as well. The recalls are not listed because there are so many of them, but I will try to link them out on Twitter. I was trying to do that yesterday and it didn't work. So I'm probably just going to put out a whole bunch today on Twitter. So make sure that you follow us there. Okay, so it says, this is a pivotal time in the field of gene therapy as the FDA continues its efforts to support innovators developing new medical products for Americans and others around the world. Hold on, do I have my microphone on? Yes. I'm sorry. You guys know how I am. I got to make sure it's on. To date, the FDA has approved 4 gene therapy products which insert new genetic material into patient cells. The agency anticipates many more approvals in the coming years, as evidenced by more than 900 investigational new drug applications for ongoing clinical studies in this area. The FDA believes this will provide patients and providers with increased therapeutic choices. So they're announcing a set of 6 final guidances, which are apparently falling under the interpreting sameness of gene therapy products under the orphan drug regulations. The growth of innovative research and product development in the field of gene therapy is exciting to us as physicians, scientists, and regulators, the FDA Commissioner Stephen Hahn said. We understand and appreciate the tremendous impact that gene therapies have on patients by potentially reversing the debilitating trajectory of diseases. These therapies, once only conceptual, are rapidly becoming a therapeutic reality for an increasing number of patients with a wide range of diseases, including rare genetic disorders and autoimmune diseases. As the regulators of these novel therapies, we know that the framework we construct for product development and review will set the stage for continued advancement of this cutting-edge field and further enable innovators to safely develop effective therapies for many diseases with unmet medical needs. Scientific development in this area is fast-paced, complex, and poses many unique questions during a product review. Pay attention to this now, including how these products work, how to administer them safely, and whether they will continue to achieve a therapeutic effect in the body without causing adverse side effects over a long period of time. So they're saying this development and these innovations are coming out so quickly and so fast, and we see that these are having, the effect of XYZ, but we do not know why it's having that effect, how it's going to have that effect, continued, how to administer them safely, and in the long run, if it's actually going to even be in the best interest of the patient. All right? It says one of the most important steps the FDA can take to support safe innovation in this field is to create policies that provide product developers with meaningful guidance. The 6 final guidances issued today provide the agency's recommendations for product developers on manufacturing issues and recommendations for those focusing on gene therapy, products to address specific disease areas. The 6 guidance documents incorporate input from many stakeholders. Stakeholders, read businesses, corporations, that's what that means. And take a significant step toward helping to shape the modern structure for development and manufacture of gene therapies. The scientific review of gene therapies includes the need to evaluate highly complex information on product manufacturing and quality. In addition, the clinical review of these products frequently poses more challenging questions to regulators than reviews of more conventional drugs, such as questions about the durability of response, and these questions often can't be fully answered in a pre-market trial of reasonable size and duration. So they're saying they cannot answer the questions that all these innovations that they're posing, they cannot answer these questions within the normal, what they consider a reasonable time frame for a pre-market trial of the drugs. So the test that they do before they give you the drugs, so that way you know that they're safe, they're saying, well, we can't answer these questions. For some gene therapy products, therefore, although they have met the FDA standards for approval, we may need to accept some level of uncertainty around questions of the duration of the response at the time of marketing authorization. So we might have to accept that when we put these drugs out to market, when we authorize them for market use, we might have to accept that we don't know the answers to these questions, if it's going to cause more harm than good over the use of it, how it works, and how to administer them safely. We might have to accept that we don't have answers to these questions. That's what they're saying. Effective tools for reliable post-market follow-up, such as post-market clinical trials, are going to be the key to advancing this field and helping to ensure that our approach fosters safe and innovative treatments. So we're just going to have to follow up with people after we give them these drugs. After we insert genetic material into somebody's cells, which remember is what they were saying that the gene therapy is. The draft guidance on interpreting sameness of gene therapy products under the orphan drug regulation provides the FDA's proposed current thinking on an interpretation of sameness between gene therapy products. And then it goes on to say, with a large number of products currently being studied, gene therapy product developers have asked the agency important questions about the orphan drug designation incentivized to develop products for rare diseases with very small patient populations. For patients, this policy could help lead to the development and approval of multiple treatments, creating a more competitive market with choices. We encourage stakeholders to provide their comments. We encourage, these businesses and the big pharma and everything to tell us what they think. Are they encouraging the public to tell them what they think as much? Well, not so much, because this news has been kind of hidden. In sum, these policy documents are representative of efforts to help advance product development in the field of gene therapy. Yeah, we know. We will continue to work with product innovators, sponsors, researchers, patients, and other stakeholders to help make the development and review of these products more efficient while putting in place regularity controls. Where did it go on to? Okay, these programs include Breakthrough Therapy Designation, Regenerative Medicine Advanced Therapy Designation, and Fast Track Designation, as well as Priority Review and Accelerated Approval. So, of course, we have that whole Wuhan virus thing going on right now. So, the FDA is like, well, hey, we need to fast track gene therapy and we need to get, big pharma just going some more with all of these, fixing autoimmune issues instead of trying to figure out why they're happening in the first place. Let's just insert genetic material into these people's cells, and without knowing if we're doing it safely or if it's going to work or if it's going to hurt the person in the long run, let's just go ahead and do it. So there's that. Again, this is linked in the description box below. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit ranty. All right, so on to the recalls, which again, I'm a little bit upset about because I get over 1,000 emails every day from various government agencies. I have signed up for so many email lists. And apparently the FDA puts out their own recalls that the USDA doesn't put out. And it even says, like, on their homepage where the recall list is, it's like, this is not a complete list of recalls. You buttheads. All right, so these have come out recently. And by the way, thank you for joining. You guys are wonderful. Okay, so recalls. Make sure you're subscribed. If you haven't subscribed already, please hit the thumbs up button or hit the thumbs down. If you don't like my coverage, you don't like the info, whatever. It's all gravy, baby. I get you. You get your opinion out there. I'm all about democracy. Thumbs up, thumbs down, whichever way you want to go. And make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at GrowTheInfo is our handle. And check out the website growtheinfo.com for all kinds of good information as well. So, I'm sorry I keep saying that over and over again, but I'm going to split up this stream after I'm done, so that's why I keep doing that. Alright, so the recalls. First, we have Lipari Foods issues voluntary recall expansion on additional sandwiches due to potential contamination of Listeria. So they already had a recall out and now they are expanding it even more. Lipari Foods is expanding its January 6, 2020 and January 13 recall of Primo and Fresh Grab sandwiches to include all sandwiches with a best buy date of 2/6/20, February 6, 2020. And prior, due to potential contamination of Listeria. And remember, Listeria is it's an organism. I was going to say bacteria, but I guess it just says organism. But it can be very harmful. It might not be harmful to you as like a healthy adult, but if people are elderly, young kids, it can really cause a lot of stomach issues and a lot of issues, and especially in pregnant women. As it says, Listeria infection can cause miscarriage and stillbirth among pregnant women. So make sure that if you are pregnant, if you know anybody that's pregnant or trying to get pregnant, make sure that they are aware of what Listeria can do. And they have a whole list here of all of the sandwiches that they are recalling, but it did say all sandwiches produced by Primo and Fresh Grab, or produced by Lipari. They're called Primo and Fresh Grab. All of the sandwiches up to the February 6th, 2020 date. Okay, so queso le ricuro, I can't say Spanish names. They recall cotija cheese because of potential health risk. I can read Chinese names. I can't read Spanish names. I don't know. Okay, they are out of Hicksville, New York, is recalling 12-ounce packages of cotija cheese, or queso cotija, because it may be contaminated with Shiga toxin, producing E. coli bacteria. Shiga toxin producing E. coli causes a diarrheal illness, often with bloody stools. Ew! Although most healthy adults can recover completely within a week, some people can develop a form of kidney failure, worse in young children and elderly. The condition can lead to serious kidney damage and even death. Make sure you're aware of that. If you like, I like salsa con queso and all that kind of stuff. No illnesses have been reported to date, and the product comes in a plastic wrapped yellow styrofoam container with a product reading queso la ricero, queso cotija, cotija cheese aged over 60 days. And it has the UPC right there, weight of 12 ounces. It only applies to sell by date of May 20th, 2020. Okay, it just says May 20th, 2020 twice. Okay, so there's that one. That one's a little bit more serious. There's a lot of Listeria recalls that happen, but, E. coli can definitely be more serious. Did you know that salmonella is not considered a contaminant? There's a little fun fact for you. Okay, King Systems issues a recall of King Vision Video laryngoscope video adapter size 1/2. On November 5th, 2019, King Systems initiated a voluntary recall of 171 units of its King Vision Video laryngoscope adapter size 1/2. So the camera that they put down your throat, I assume. The affected products have been found to exhibit a reversed image, which could potentially result in difficulty navigating during intertubation and or delay in intertubation. Yeah, I would think so. You stick the camera down someone's throat and it's like, why is that on the wrong side? Yeah. Affected products can be identified by reviewing the product packaging for lot number or individual devices for serial number. King Systems voluntarily recalled the products after receiving reports of some products exhibiting a reversed image. Although the image may appear normal, the user's actions will be reversed on the display for left and right directions. Up and down directions are unaffected. Oh, so it's like a wonky video game. Man, I can't do anything in wonky video games. I always have to go and reverse the XY axis, I can't even imagine being a doctor trying to do some surgery with one of those little cameras or something and then having to I have a hard time pointing at my graphics when I'm on camera and I don't know where to point because it's reversed. Okay, so Savannah Food Company Incorporated voluntarily recalled cornbread dressing and bread stuffing products due to possible health risk. Savannah Food Company Incorporated is taking issues of food safety seriously and an abundance of caution is voluntarily recalling certain formulations of cornbread dressing and bread stuffing that include frozen diced eggs, supplied by Allmark Foods. So if you haven't heard about the Allmark Foods recall, there was a really big recall of eggs due to Listeria. I can't select things apparently correctly with my mouse, but Listeria, it says down there. So if you haven't seen that, go ahead and look up the Allmark food recall. But just in general, it was a whole lot of eggs and hard-boiled eggs, pre-made like egg products that restaurants and producers and stuff were putting into other goods. So this was a company that was using their eggs, and so they decided to go ahead and do a voluntary recall. 5-Star Food recalls Sham Garden's excellent tahina because of possible health risk. 5-Star Food Incorporated in Garden City, Missouri is recalling 100 cases of excellent tahina 800 grams and 100 cases of excellent tahina 400 gram containers because it has the potential to be contaminated with salmonella, an organism which can cause serious and sometimes fatal infections in young children, frail or elderly people, and others with weakened immune systems. Healthy persons affected with salmonella often experience fever, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, and abdominal pain. And as I said earlier, salmonella is not, at this point, considered a contaminant. However, there is somebody that is trying to change that. Kudos to that person, and I am going to definitely be doing a video on that. I actually want to contact them and see if I can get an interview. Because, yeah, salmonella, this is what the product looks like. Salmonella is not considered a contaminant. ABH Nature's Products Incorporated, ABH Pharma Incorporated, and StockNutra.com Incorporated issues nationwide recall of all lots of dietary supplement products. And I already peeked at this one. It's recalling all lots of its dietary supplement products pursuant to a consent decree entered by the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of New York. This recall applies to all their dietary supplement products manufactured and sold between January 2013 and November 2019. And all lots of products are included in this recall. These products are being recalled after an FDA inspection found significant violations of current good manufacturing practice regulations. It's 2020 now. It took them 7 years to find that out. Manufacturing practices that are not in adequate control represent the possibility of risk being introduced into the manufacturing process. Yeah, resulting in finished supplement products with decreased identity, purity, strength, and composition. Yep. The companies contract manufacture dietary supplements for other firms and did not sell products directly to consumers. Oh, so this company, if you go and you look in your cabinet, you're not going to see anything labeled from their company because they are selling their products to other firms who are then selling the product to you. So, hopefully the firms are paying attention to this, but, if they were selling these products in the first place without there being, FDA authorization that they were being produced correctly, then I don't think they really care. Consumers should check the attached list of companies who distribute the dietary supplements to determine if they have purchased a recalled product that needs to be returned or destroyed. Where is the list? Is this the list? No. What attached list? I'm going to have to link to product list. Okay. I might need glasses. Just maybe. Is it not going to open? Oh yeah, is it not going to open? Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Okay, so it didn't open. So the link doesn't do anything. I don't know. I'll try to find that list for you guys. Fusion 4 Pharmaceuticals Incorporated, Axia Pharmaceutical issues a voluntary nationwide recall of all sterile drug products with expiry due to a lack of assurance of sterility. Oh, it's downloading. My computer was just taking a minute. I hope that didn't mess up my stream. Oh, we got someone in here. Hi, Carolyn. Yes, the FDA is shady. Oh my gosh. Thank you for joining, hun. But yeah, you are totally right. It's ridiculous. I see these recalls all the time, and it's like recalling this product or that product because it has a USDA stamp on it and it wasn't inspected, which means that there's somebody at the plant that is not a USDA inspector that's stamping these products. And they just redid the requirements regarding livestock in our country and how they're supposed to be handled. And so the USDA inspectors and stuff, like, there's supposed to be like one at each facility. But as I said, they put the stamp on there, and then they have to recall the stuff because it wasn't inspected. So obviously there's not somebody there doing their job. There's somebody else doing it. I don't know what they think they're doing, but we're not that stupid, are we? Okay. The list. Open. Thing. Open. In Excel. No. I will link that down below for you guys. And I'll leave a comment on this video with a link to it, so that way you guys can find it. But Excel's going to take 300 years to open up on my computer. Okay. So, the recall regarding the sterility of products. The pharmaceutical company is voluntarily recalling all unused sterile drug products with expiry to the user level due to a lack of assurance of sterility. Oh, so they expire when the user uses them. Okay. The recalled sterile products have been found to be inconsistent with federal guidelines. Administration of a drug product intended to be sterile that is not sterile could result in serious infections, which may be life-threatening. You don't say. To date, Fusion 4 Pharmaceuticals Incorporated and Axia Pharmaceutical has not received any reports of adverse events related to this recall. But however, I'm assuming that like maybe it's catheters or something. I mean, if these are things that users are using on themselves that are supposed to be sterile things, then that means that they more than likely have some other health issues going on. And something might happen because of this, and then they won't know it's because of this, because they think that their product is supposed to be sterile. Okay. Full list of products, including lot numbers and expiration date being recalled. Follow this link. I will link that in a comment down below as well. I know that there's a lot of truthers and people in the Snafu crew and Fugel fam and stuff that have health issues, and I mean, this is stuff that the news doesn't talk about, unless it's some massive amount that's being recalled and it can make good headlines, and they don't talk about these recalls. Stryker launches voluntary field action for specific units of the LifePak 15 monitor/defibrillator. Stryker announced today that the company is launching a voluntary field action on specific units of LifePak 15 monitor/defibrillator. The company is notifying a population of LifePak 15 customers of an issue that may cause their devices to fail to deliver a defibrillation shock after the shock button on the keypad has pressed. So, I think we all know what a defibrillator is, but if you don't, it's a device that they put in your chest to make sure that your heart can beat. So, if you gotta press a button to say shock, then that means you need it to make your heart work. So if that button's not working, I think that could cause some serious issues. The company is contacting customers with impacted devices to schedule the correction of their devices, which will include replacement of the affected keyboard. Stryker anticipates that all devices subject to this field action will be replaced by June 2021. I wonder how many people, though, are going to have to use that shock button before that time period. And that's a fairly long time period. A defibrillator is a really serious piece of equipment. I think they should be a little bit more on their toes about that. I'm upset about that. I don't want my Fugel fam and my Snafu crew and, all you guys affected by this stuff. This really upsets me when I see, like, medical equipment being recalled, and they want to at the same time act like the big pharma and everything, like they they know what they're doing and we should just trust them. Yep, dangerous best practices. Okay, see you later, hon. Have a good day. I'm going to be ending this stream now anyway because I have to get ready for the impeachment trials to start. And, yes. So I'm going to be doing that in a little bit. So if you're not subscribed, then make sure you are subscribed. I can't talk now after all this ranting and reading through stuff quickly. I will be splitting up this stream, so you'll probably see smaller clips of it uploaded. That way you guys can like share it on, social media or whatever, and it will be easier for people to watch instead of the whole long shebang. But thank you guys so much for watching and everything with me and listening to my rants. I appreciate it. Make sure that you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at GrowTheInfo, and you can check out the website growtheinfo.com for other press releases and other good information as well. And make sure, I already said this, make sure you're subscribed because I'm going to be live streaming the impeachment trials. And I believe that the defense is still doing their side today. Oh, thank you, honey. Thank you so much. I never go on Discord, so I always forget to share stuff on there, but thank you so much. I should get on there more. Alright, so I'm going to end this here. And everybody else that's watching, make sure that you check out Carolyn Lowe, because she does some awesome Skywatch stuff and some truther content too. So make sure you check her out. And okay, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you here in a little while. Thank you.